Welcome back to the Explainer. Today we are tearing right into the facade of modern software interfaces. We've all seen them, right? Those gorgeous digital dashboards that look like they belong on the bridge of a sci-fi spaceship. But the second you try to actually use them, the whole thing just kind of crumbles. Pure demoware. Well, today we're deconstructing a really fascinating analysis by Maurizio Rossari to look at the exact opposite. We're diving into the SYRAG web dashboard. And this is a system engineered from the ground up for real, heavy-duty use. If you want to see how modern platforms pull content, AI, publishing, and digital trust into one practical system, you are absolutely in the right place. Okay, let's just dive right into this. We all know the illusion of the so-called simple interface. It's just a nice-looking screen with a bunch of administrative labels that don't actually do anything on their own. Contrast that with what the SYRAG web dashboard actually is: a true operational hub. Rossari makes this brilliant observation in his analysis. He points out that when you look at the SYRAG project, you can instantly feel that it was built for actual utility. It acts as this powerful coordination layer. It's a connected, working platform where dedicated areas for messaging, email, audits, AI, and publishing are all actively talking to each other. Which brings us to Section 1, a modular collaborative ecosystem. So how does it get all this operational power? Well, it throws out the idea that a dashboard has to do everything itself. Let's peel back that surface layer. The architecture here is just fascinating. The dashboard does not work alone. It relies on a central gateway, the SYRAG Agent Gateway specifically, to interact with all these independent, specialized services. We're talking connections to authentication modules, the content manager, the enterprise baseline, the knowledge base manager, the SYRAG lab, and the Chime Chain validator. It's like, well, actually, think of it like a really high-end restaurant kitchen. The dashboard is the waiter, right? It takes your order, manages the experience, but the actual heavy lifting, the cooking, is done by specialized chefs in the back. The dashboard isn't trying to be the hero. It beautifully separates the interface you interact with from the heavy processing working behind the scenes. Moving right along to Section 2, Practical Workflows in Action. Now, this modular architecture isn't just some abstract, nerdy tech achievement. It unlocks incredibly tangible utility. Let's look at how it handles web publishing, for example. Imagine you're managing content on this system. Your flow is mapped out technically, step by step. First, you check the content status. Then, it doesn't just push it live willy-nilly. It actively validates the content before deployment. Step 3 is absolutely crucial. It certifies individual pages or the whole site. Then Step 4, it publishes through decentralized networks like IPFS and Pinata. That means your content is distributed. It's resilient. It isn't just sitting on one fragile server that could crash at any minute. From there, you promote it from staging to production and smoothly manage your version history. It's a fully functional deployment pipeline, not just saving text to a database. But hey, content is only one piece of the puzzle here. The dashboard pulls AI right into the mix. We're looking at code that reveals proxy routes for assistant and lab functions, model routes, diagnosis endpoints, chat capabilities, the whole shebang. And to be clear, these are not just trendy buzzwords slapped onto a menu, and this is absolutely not just another generic ChatGPT wrapper bolted onto an interface. The interface acts as a highly reliable router, taking your AI requests and channeling them straight into those specialized SYRAG modules we talked about earlier. It ensures the AI is actually engaging with the system's core knowledge base. Which leads into Section 3, Traceability and Digital Identity. Going beyond content and AI, we hit what is arguably the most critical layer for any digital setup today: trust. Let's dig into the components dedicated entirely to transparency and digital identity. In most systems, an audit tab is basically this dusty digital filing cabinet that literally nobody opens until something goes horribly wrong. But here, the sections for audit and identity are concrete, working tools. The code actively supports local audit reading, houses specific endpoints for challenges and verification, and deeply integrates identity info. It's not just passively watching, it's actively validating the data and the identities interacting with it. The real magic trick is how it integrates with MITL and DITL concepts. Quick breakdown for you. MITL is man-in-the-loop, meaning human oversight is actively baked into the process. DITL is device-in-the-loop, so the physical hardware being used is also authenticated. The dashboard handles your interface, but relies on these concepts as the bedrock for transparency. This is exactly what Rossari means by digital identity validation. Every action, every piece of published content, every AI prompt, it's all tied to a secure, traceable digital identity, verified by both the human user and their hardware. Trust is literally written right into the operating code. And finally, Section 4, the ultimate coordination layer.
So we have content, we have AI, and we have ironclad trust. But how do you connect all that to your audience? This is the final piece of the puzzle. The dashboard includes dedicated tools and routes for user messages, email, and newsletter management. Because it's a unified hub, you don't have to constantly context switch and jump between like 15 different browser tabs just to manage your presence. It works seamlessly as a communication hub for users and visitors alike. It ties everything you published, the AI you used, and the trust you established directly into how you communicate, all from one place.
I want to bring this whole thing together with a quote straight from Maurizio Rizzari's analysis. He writes, "It is a real platform for managing digital work in a connected and thoughtful way. It brings content, AI, publishing, and trust into one practical system." And guys, this is why this matters so much. We are so used to fragmented tools. You know the drill. One app for newsletters, another for AI, a clunky CMS, a totally detached audit log. The real game changer here is that coordination layer. The SYRAG dashboard manages your web presence, AI, validation, and communication with absolute modular consistency.
Which leaves us with a pretty critical question to ask ourselves about the tools we log into every single day. If your dashboard isn't coordinating content, AI, publishing, and trust into one connected, practical system, what is it actually doing? Are you using an operational hub, or are you just clicking around a pretty interface? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep looking past the interface and keep learning.